You're listening to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance, Protecting Texas Churches. The show that gives pastors and church leaders the clarity they need to protect their people, property, and ministry.
Welcome back to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance, Protecting Texas Churches. I'm your host, Ron Wadley with Insurance for Texans. We help church leaders protect their people and property with wisdom and clarity. Today, we're talking about what to expect in Texas church insurance costs for 2026. And this episode is really about resetting expectations because for the first time in several years, something has shifted. If you've been serving on a finance committee or leading a church in Texas, the last few renewal cycles probably felt brutal. Premiums kept climbing, options kept shrinking. And for a while, the goal wasn't even good coverage. It was just, please don't bankrupt the church. Now, as we move through 2026, there is some actual price relief showing up. New carriers are stepping back into Texas. Capacity and competition are returning. And yes, some churches are seeing lower premiums than they did a year or two ago. That's the good news. The hard part is understanding what that relief really costs. The floor for church insurance has permanently moved up. Construction costs and materials are more costly. Weather losses aren't slowing down. That means 2026 will never look like 2020 again, no matter what a glossy quote might suggest. So when a proposal comes across your desk that looks shockingly cheap, that should slow you down, not excite you. What we're seeing is that many of these lower premiums aren't coming from efficiency or better underwriting. They're coming from trade-offs. One of the biggest ways carriers are cutting costs right now is by taking control away from the church. Managed repair programs are becoming much more common. On paper, they save money. In real life, they force you to use the insurance company's contractor, not the local roofer you trust. The goal shifts from restoring the building properly to closing the claim as cheaply as possible. Another way premiums are dropping is by quietly hollowing out coverage. We're seeing liability limits reduced, sexual misconduct coverage capped, retroactive dates removed, and property coverage shifted from replacement cost to actual cash value. None of that jumps off the declarations page, but all of it shows up when a storm hits or an allegation surfaces. Roofs deserve special attention in 2026 because this is where many churches are getting burned. Instead of charging more to insure an older roof, carriers are introducing roof sublimits. That means your building might be insured for millions, but when hail destroys the roof, the policy only pays $50,000. In some cases, a roof sublimit can be a strategic choice, but when it's slipped into a policy to make a premium look better, it turns insurance into a very expensive illusion. Geography is also playing a bigger role than ever. Texas isn't one market, it's many climates stitched together. Gulf Coast churches are facing exclusions and restrictions tied to wind and water. North Texas churches are seeing higher wind and hail deductibles, sometimes 5% of the building value. On a $2 million church, that's $100,000 out of pocket before insurance helps at all. All of this means you need someone who understands which carriers are still writing real coverage in your specific area, not just someone who can pull a quote off a system. All of this points to one big takeaway for 2026. Cheaper premiums only matter if the coverage still works. This is not the year to commoditize church insurance. It's the year to customize it. Property insurance gets the most attention because the bills are big, but liability is just as important. Directors and officers coverage, pastoral counseling liability, cyber insurance, workers' comp. These are the areas that become risks if they're trimmed too aggressively in the name of savings. At Insurance for Texans, we approach 2026 differently. We look at the total cost of risk, not just the annual premium. We evaluate your roof realistically. We look at your claims history and tell your story to underwriters. We factor in your geography, your ministries, your staff, and your reserves. And we flag bad policy language before it becomes a problem. Lower premiums can be a blessing in 2026, but only if they're built on solid coverage, not fine print. That's what true Texas church insurance is about. Sustainable protection. No surprises when it matters most. If your church is looking at an insurance renewal that seems too good to be true, let us take a look at it. Connect with our church insurance team at insurancefortexans.com. And if you want to gain more knowledge about church insurance overall, get a free copy of our book, The Promise of Certainty, at thepromiseofcertainty.com. I'm Ron Wadley, and this has been Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance Protecting Texas Churches. Until next time, remember, good stewardship is about finding the right insurance at the right price.
Thanks for listening to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance. Until next time, remember, insurance isn't just about policies. It's about safeguarding the mission God has called you to lead.